Welcome to Choosing to Matter Cocktails with Chris, a space for open, honest, and unhurried conversations. In today's episode, we sit down with someone who's shaping our world with purpose and passion. I'm your host, Chris Lubkeman. Join me as we explore how our guest has chosen and chooses to matter. Dear listeners, for today's conversation, I am joined by Dr. Zina Cinker, my good friend and Director General of Matter and Chief Creator of PuzzleX and Xpanse. We've invited Zina here to share her journey as a global leader in exponential tech and the creator of platforms helping the materialization of deep science into technologies with broader impact. So Zina, it's a great pleasure to have you here today.
Same here, Chris. So good to see you and your bow tie.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. So I got to start off. If you were here on the streets of Zurich and you had met somebody, how would you introduce yourself?
Goodness, that is the most difficult question, because I think polymaths and people who have multiple interests and multiple things they do in life, they always have this difficulty of seeing what is going to match most closely the person they're talking to. So you ask me who I am. I have to look at you and say, what do I know of Chris, and what is going to be landing the most, I don't know, organically with Chris. But if I have to tell you about different facets of me, that would be a long conversation. I'm a physicist by background. I grew up in a family of art, half artist, half scientist. My brain is structured differently than most people. I love solving problems. I love creating platforms, and I love infusing a lot of creativity into it. But I can do anything. I think there are some things we're good at. There are some things we are not good at. But I would say, yeah, that's maybe a gist of it.
So I would go and I'd look at you and go, I still don't know what you do, Zina, but we're going to come to that in just a little bit longer.
I love it.
Right?
This is a thing. If you don't know what I do, that's the fun of it.
That's always a way to keep the conversation going. So Zina, as you know, this is a podcast with around choosing to matter. The subtitle is Cocktails with Chris. So we've asked you, what is your favorite cocktail?
Okay. It is 9 a.m. right now in Nashville, Tennessee. So I am drinking, ladies and gentlemen, tea. Okay. This is, yes, it is tea. But because I love you, Chris, I brought my favorite drink, which is Lafroy.
Lafroy. There you go.
You remember us drinking this thing, Chris? I've been drinking this for probably 15 years. And whoever knows me knows that.
Wait, just wait a minute. You have not been drinking that bottle for 15 years.
I hope not. I mean, I'm more efficient in drinking than this. No, this would have been a very special bottle.
All right.
But I am going to, at the end of this, I also brought my special glass. And at the end of this, I'm going to have a sip just for you. But meanwhile, I'm going to be drinking my tea.
That's fair enough. So tell us about the Lafroy, because I didn't bring Lafroy because unfortunately I didn't have any in my bar, but I have a single malt, a Centis malt from cask number 1208, bottled in 2017, numbered, and just for you. So I can drink a little sip with you at the end. We can both cheers, and it's a wonderful. It's a very nice drink, actually.
I can't wait to do that together at some point too.
We will. I look forward to it. So tell me about Lafroy. Why this?
You know, I think that it represents somehow my personality and the way that we do our work, which usually come across to people as strange. We go with things with such intensity that people say, whoa, wait a second, slow down. And we say, we're not going to slow down. You got to just step aside, right? Lafroy is like that. Their slogan is, you love it or you hate it. There's no in between. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's like something, it punches you in the face. It tastes like gasoline. It's like, it's so rough. Some people really do not get along well with Lafroy. Say, how can you drink something like this? Drink some wine like a refined lady. Yeah, we drink Lafroy. It's good. And all my team.
where did you have your first where did you have your first sip of this?
I don't know. What a great question. I have absolutely no idea where. It must have been at a bar or something. Somebody probably like said, "Hey, have a sip of this." Maybe I smelled it somewhere and said, "Why, it smells so good." It smells like campfire. I love it. It's like you're
Yeah.
drinking fire.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. It is a drinking fire, and it feels like the fire goes
I
all the way
know.
down in there. Well, that's really cool. So I got a question. So how would your grandparents describe what you do now? Not you, but how would they describe it?
They couldn't. I can't describe what I do. My husband cannot describe what I do. Well, how would I expect my grandparents
Well,
to describe?
give us a try. What do you think they would say?
She does something with computers.
I love it. I don't know what she does. She does on the computers. I don't know. She stands on stages and introduces
She,
cool people. I don't
she
know.
goes around the world. She travels. I don't know what she does. It's
Well, how,
difficult.
so
Yeah.
yeah. Well, how would you describe it to them? How would you describe it to them
I
so they would
tried
understand?
when my grandmother was alive. I tried, and at that point, actually, I was doing my PhD in physics, which was a lot easier to describe what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it just didn't land. I think that her response always was, "Are you happy? Are you happy?" And
Mm-hmm.
that was the only thing that
Oh,
she cared. I think that
yeah.
my parents are, I mean, I come from an Iranian family. So for them, the only thing that matters is that you're happy, you're doing good for the world. And the rest of it, it's also, my mom is a Sufi scholar, which just complete changes the way that you look at life. Um,
Yeah.
so it's not a traditional family, I would say. So unfortunately, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how I would describe it to anybody or how they would describe it, what I do.
Well, but that's beautiful right there. That's really beautiful. As you said, like they say, well, for you, to them, the most important thing for your grandparents was that you were happy.
Yeah.
And are you happy?
Happiness is a measure. I think it's an abstract concept. Content. I would say happiness
Mm-hmm.
is in the moment. We feel elated when you are feeling in delta, right? So you're hungry, you eat, you're happy. Happiness is not something that is continuous. Contentment might
Mm-hmm.
be, right?
Yep.
I've struggled a lot with the concept of happiness because also
Mm-hmm.
the other half of my brain, which comes from an artist family, as an artist, you're never ever happy with what you create. If you're happy, you're not creating. You art and creativity is born in this friction. And so it's always that, but I also
Mm-hmm.
take joy in certain things that we accomplish, and it usually is very much dependent on the delta that I'm achieving. So you mentioned that we
Mm-hmm.
went from PuzzleX or event in Barcelona, and then we wanted to create something really different, extraordinary. That step is making me happy. And then if the next step that I
Mm-hmm.
take from there is this amount, then that would not make me happy. Even if to the
Mm-hmm.
outside world it would look like, why would you not be happy about this? Things lose their allure
Mm-hmm.
very, very fast for
Sure.
me. So happiness is an elusive thing. It's always
Mm-hmm.
evading.
It's sort of you're grasping and searching, and
Are you happy,
you
Chris?
find it. It's a great question, Zena, but I'm here to talk to you
Damn it. I gotta
today.
start my podcast so I can ask you that
You
question.
almost did it. You almost did it, but yeah. But I share your well, so my grandfather was an inventor. So and for him everything could be improved. So on one hand, no, I'm never happy with anything because it can always be improved. But I learned from my father that sometimes there is good enough, and that good enough can also be pretty excellent. Right? And so this is it's an interesting dichotomy I think you and I both share is we both, I mean, what I experience with you is you crave excellence, but at some point, if you can't get that,
I know.
this is going to be good enough, but you want that, but it's just good enough. So are you happy? Yeah, it's a good one, you know. But we've mentioned Puzzle X. And so, what? Tell us a little bit more about Puzzle X and about Expanse. What are these?
PuzzleX was an initiative that we did with the government of Spain and state of Catalonia and City Hall of Barcelona, where we wanted to create a place where thought leaders in deep tech, in deep science, and exponential technologies would come together. And we maintained what we wanted to do, which was every year we had that 3,000 people. We would bring about 80 plus countries together, very international. We would bring thought leaders together that had the knowledge of the beyond, what I call it. So I run a think tank. I run Matter, which we have 20,000 members, 30 country chapters, and it's who is a part of our community and our membership and network are majority of them are scientists. And what we wanted to do was to bring the message of what's happening right now on the edge. Not what you read in the tech news. That's not what's on the edge. What's on the edge is the jibber jabber we publish in scientific papers that most people cannot understand. And if I go to the building, I don't know, or not even building, if I go to one floor down in my physics department, go down to my colleagues, I don't understand a single thing they're talking about, or I cannot read a single one of their papers, right? So that information is being created, but it's not being translated necessarily because the people who are explorers, right? They explore, they don't stand still to say, let us communicate with the people inside. It's like I call it, it's like a circle, it's like a sphere. These people are creating more and more depth for the sphere, but they're explorers. Their job is not to translate these things, but our job is to translate. So PuzzleX and then the continuation of that Xpanse were platforms and are platforms for us to bring the world's most the brightest minds, Nobel laureates, scientists, university leaders, as well as amazing professors and researchers, and for us to give them a means of translating what it is. So we kind of go beyond what TED does, which is here, let's kind of giving a storytelling format, which really, I mean, it was so innovative. We go one step beyond that and we create presentations for our speakers. We create mesmerizing visuals for them because we're a think tank plus a creative agency. And it adds to the way you absorb information. So what we wanted to experiment with was if you combine the knowledge, this depth of knowledge, plus the storytelling formats that have been created in the entertainment sector, in the music sector, in the storytelling, writing sector, if we combine those two things together, would you be able to have a deeper impact on the people who are listening to it?
Cool.
And that was our experimentation, which we perfected almost at Xpanse. And it's the beginning of the road for us. So many, many more steps to come.
That's really cool because I think communication is so key. This is, we hear again and again and again, is if you can't communicate, the ideas will never land. It doesn't. Your idea, and I always say, if you can't communicate your idea, it doesn't matter.
That is. But does it really? That is very valuable. It just, does it matter if that information has been created? I think it still matters, Chris. It still matters. Because we've opened a door into the fabric of universe, and if that information is out there sometime, I think it matters. It doesn't matter as much.
That's a good point. No, but you're right, because it can be discovered and plucked and then integrated into a way where someone can't explain it. That's really good. So let me ask, Zina, when you were like 14, 15, 16, what did you think you were going to do with your life?
I was sure I was going to become Bill Gates. I wanted to be Bill Gates.
Really?
I didn't want to become Bill Gates. It was weird.
I'm glad you did not become Bill Gates. This is,
let's stay away from that.
Levels.
Let's stay away from that.
Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna stay there. Yeah.
I think my friends used to call me William. I mean, just so you know how many people knew about this thing. It was a phase I went through. I was fascinated by what it represented, probably because I've gone back and I've thought about it. Why did I want? For years, I was also confused. I was really thinking that maybe what attracted me was that I wanted to be very rich. But then in the past 10 years, I've demystified that and I realized that it doesn't matter for me. Money has zero significance for me. As long as I have money
Hmm.
to play with what I want to create, I don't care about the rest of it. But what I realized, and when I was analyzing, I think it was the story of the garage, right? The story of starting something without having the means to start it and having the
Hmm.
guts to do something different, to drop
Hmm.
out. And in these days, it's so cliche, right? We've heard this, but Chris, at that point, like what, how many years ago was that? That was new. That wasn't something we heard. There was really no established internet, or there wasn't many stories of all these startups.
Yeah.
That was not common. So for me, that story was something that if you do something against the grain, because I was feeling I was different, right? You feel that you don't
Hmm.
think the same as others, and it can be isolating. It can be
Hmm.
stifling. I mean, it's not an easy place to be. It's a way out that there are other people who do things that is not institutionally correct,
Yeah.
and they're young and they can do it. So I think that was the attraction was probably that
Hmm.
the grit and the guts.
Yeah. I can see that in you. You have the grit and the guts, and I'm glad you're not Bill Gates. That's really that's really great. And you went to university and became a scientist.
Yeah.
You didn't set out to become a translator and platform creator. You set out to be a scientist in some very, very fascinating domains. Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that.
So the other part, that story of when I was a kid. So if you go back up when I was not 15, but I was 6 or 7 until I was 15, I wanted to be an astrophysicist.
Oh,
So it's my whole life I've been given these books about science and I don't, Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov. And this is I learned reading by reading Isaac Asimov. I mean, that's what how I started reading.
really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
And so that's what was given to me by my parents. So at some point, Chris, I remember I was 20 and I told my dad. They never ever told me, again, a very unconventional family. They never ever told me what they wanted me to do. They never ever told me that they wanted me to get an A. They wanted me to do this. Never. They were happy with us being happy and good people. So at some point, I went to my dad and I said, please tell me I'm now at university. Your preference is not going to influence me anymore. What did you think I would be? What did you want me to be? And he said, I guess I would have wanted you to be a lawyer or an artist. And I said, well, I didn't become any of them. You should have at least told me. That was the answer of my dad, was that he would have thought I would have been a lawyer or an artist, which is very strange because those two things
Hmm.
are so
Hmm.
ingrained inside of me that at this point I can see what he saw in me, that he thought this is what I should be. But they never told us this. And at some point, he was telling me, okay, and then you went to physics. And I said, what were you expecting? You were giving us these physics books. And Isaac Asimov, did you think I was going to become a lawyer with giving us these books? It doesn't, the logic doesn't make sense, Dad. But anyway, I wanted to be a physicist since I was a child. And obviously, the path to becoming a Bill Gates was something that was an established path, but becoming a physicist was an
Hmm.
established path. I knew what steps to
Hmm.
take. So I took those
Yeah.
steps because I was very excited about it. But it was awful. Everything I loved about physics, they really pound it out of you when you're getting a bachelor's degree in
Hmm.
physics. I
Hmm.
hate it. I did not like
Tell
physics.
me, what do you mean? Tell me, what do you mean? What did you love and what did they pound out? I'm quite curious, actually.
These days, what I represent is this magnificent ability of human beings to discover things, this
Hmm.
these layers that we peel and we see the curiosity that's within all of us. That's when you are a
Hmm.
child, you're seeing these things. Everything in the world is like that, right? And when you go to high school and to school and they give you these little things to discover, you're experimenting with it. And it really made me happy. I loved physics. And then you go to university and goodness gracious, the physics 101s, these books, I mean, they if I did not have this deep rooted idea that I wanted to become a physicist because it was ingrained in me because I read those Isaac Asimov books. I would have dropped out. I would not have stayed in physics. I would have absolutely dropped out. I would have dropped out then. I would have dropped out during my master's degree. The PhD became fun. So that's what I used to, when I was teaching at Vanderbilt, physics, I would tell the students, bear with this. Physics will become a lot more fun if you get to the PhD and you get to go in this thing of, let's explore again, let's do things that nobody else in the world knows about. That exploration, that sense of discovery will come back. But something is wrong with our educational system. Man, I really did not like doing my bachelor's degree or master's.
Which is interesting, this sense of wonder. I mean, this is what I think to me, you're the sense of awe.
100%.
That, right? Just like, and this is, I think, what you've been able now to recapture with your platforms is that sense of awe. It's awesome. Like, wow, that's so cool, you know.
You said it so
do
right.
recall, yeah. And I do recall a physics 101 at Vanderbilt with a book this big, because that was where I studied, and that I took physics 101, and it was not my favorite class.
Probably still
I
is
stayed
not
in
for
engineering
anybody.
in spite of it. But, yeah, I know. But we stuck it out, but then you did your PhD and you got into some very fascinating domains of research. Very fascinating.
It is. I don't claim that it will be fascinating to everybody else, but for me it was, again, that moment, the moment of awe, right? For you to stumble upon something that says, oh my God, I can see something. There is something unknown. And we're just in the beginning of figuring things out more to kind of see through this fabric of reality. What is and works. That happened to me when I was one day. This may be the story of serendipity and chances, right? And things that we don't plan. I went to Vanderbilt to become an astrophysicist. I had absolutely no idea what condensed matter or material science was. I didn't want to go into that. It wasn't attractive to me. And then one day, just randomly, I stumbled upon this class, and it was raining outside, so I had to go in because I couldn't get a car. I didn't know how to drive at that point. I didn't want to. Nobody was giving me a ride, and so I was like in the hallways, and there was this class also. So I go to this class to Vanderbilt.
You literally just walked into a random class.
We could, because it was in the physics department, and I knew it. Like,
Sure.
a lot of our classes you can just walk into. It's not. It wasn't one of those classes that you. So I walk into this classroom, and they're talking. It was a student project, and they were talking about this material, the thinnest and strongest material ever existed, and it's called graphene. And I was like, oh my God, this sounds like science fiction. I really want to do this. Forget about my plans. I'm going to do this. And then my life changed, I guess, at that one moment, because it was raining, I guess. So I went to a different path.
That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful, because it literally in a moment that was like, wow. Again, awe.
Oh,
That just hit you. And I guess in art, it's like this is very often as well. You come with these moments of inspiration. It's very often you hear that.
absolutely. Yeah. It's like there is this one moment where you can see something. And I think I've been chasing those moments of being able to see something and being able to create things that have that just spark, that electricity. And that moment, I think that when I heard something that sparked my curiosity to the point of, oh my God, why do I not know about this? This is so interesting, was one of those defining moments. There have been those defining moments in my life where I see something, and Chris, I don't think they are by accident in a bigger picture of what it is. I think we have to sample enough things in life that the chances of you running into that moment of spark becomes higher and higher. Sometimes I have these ideas with things, for example, Xpanse, our event / experience, we don't even call it an event, that we created. It came to me at a moment, Chris, that I saw an image that actually has become one of the identity of Xpanse. I saw one image, and it was this swirly thing that you see on the website, right? I saw it in 1 second. I saw something, a flash of something. Based on that, I created a name, a brand, a concept, something. I can't tell these moments that these things happen are there's no recipe for it. And I think in our modern life, we have been trying to follow the recipe of manufacturing so much, which is you do this, there's a blueprint for it, you follow it, and something happens. But that's not how nature works. That's not how biology works, right? Biology is this messy, beautiful, complexity science, stuff together, chances, and something comes out, a pattern emerges, the idea of an emergent behavior, something emerges. And I see more and more in my life that the moments where people look at it and say, how did you do this? What on earth are you doing this? And how are you able to accomplish it? These are moments that I cannot describe. I wasn't following a path. I never knew what I wanted to do. To ask me tomorrow what I want to do, I have no idea what is going to happen in the next year. And we don't plan like that. So long answer to your question.
No, that's that's a beautiful answer. Truly a beautiful answer, because it really shows there's so many different ways in which one can meander through life and meander in a good way. As you said, you have to have many experiences. And you sample, then you got to go, whoa, that was really interesting. And you go deep. I think this is interesting. You go deep into this. And I think I want to stay with the graphene for a minute, because to me it's a fascinating material. And I know because that led you then into this idea of the exponential technologies which can just go scale, right? I mean, this is something that I think this deep tech expands. But what was the bridge? How did you go from graphene to I'm going to create platforms for
I
thousands of
didn't.
people?
That is exactly what I was just telling you before. There is no intention for me to create something. Chris, if you and I talked a year and a half ago, I could not have told you I am going to create Xpanse. None of these things are planned. Just as these are
Serendipity. No, let's go. Yes.
serendipity, but you are absolutely ready. I have trained my brain to be so sensitive to opportunities where I close my eyes and I can feel. This feeling is, we need to desensitize people thinking feeling is extreme analysis behind in your back of your brain. So instincts, that gut feeling you have, people say trust it. You absolutely, not only you have to trust it, you have to tell yourself that there was something going on that my front of my brain could not analyze it fast enough that this one did. So for me,
pushed to the back, yeah.
100%. And it's, for me, it's, we scan opportunities. So, and I am open to taking a path. So I take a lot of risk for people when they say, how did you leave a postdoc and go and do this thing? I can't define how, but I can feel something and I follow it, not because I know it's going to be successful. That's the other thing about me. I never do things because I'm sure it's going to be successful. I do things because I feel it needs to be done. It's a very weird thing. I describe it to a lot of people and people don't understand because, again, we're conditioned to think of a path through life as you do this, you do this, you do this. That's not how I lead my life. So when you said I did graphene because I knew it was, no. And you didn't put it that way, but I just want to say that the next steps that were taken were as if it was meant to be. I can trace it back this way after I've done it. I can see what points were put into place, but I can't trace it from the beginning of saying I had a decision. What I know is that whenever I feel that there is a need to do something, if nobody else is doing it, and even if it's risky or something, I'll stand up and say, I'll do it. Let's do it. And it's led me to weird places.
But that's really good. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, I like that. It's looking back. I'm not asking you to step backwards, look forward. It's really, as we stand here looking back, it's always curious to me. exactly this question of serendipity and how one activates the opportunity antennas, if you will, that opportunity. Because I feel you and I share this in many ways, because I never expected to be sitting where I am now. This was not part of any plan. It was just the opportunity came, and it was like, okay, let's do that. And I think so. It's also from me for us to share with others who are in their journey that taking advantage of opportunities which are unplanned is okay.
Not only it's okay, Chris, I think we need to tell and we need to teach the younger generation be a lot more tuned to this. Life is not manufacturing line. Life is like biology. It things emerge. The you need to be able to be open to different things, have the guts to go about it. Not, it's not the right fit for everyone, but Chris, it was for you and I, right? And for a lot of people
Yeah.
who, if you look at a lot of people who go in weird places, do impactful things, none of them are following the path that they thought they would be following, right? Because they were open enough to look around and
Yeah.
say, oh, there is a need somewhere. And that's how you see a tree branches do not grow in a square fashion like this. They grow wherever they feel the nutrients are. That's the most effective and efficient way. Again, it's not for everyone, but for those who have that innate capacity, they should not only embrace it, they should teach themselves to rely on it more.
Yeah, I hear you. That's really great. Well said. Thank you. So let's take a look at the future. Looking forward, what inspires you about the future?
Oh, weird questions, Chris. My brain is very weird in that sense. I don't see the future, and it confuses
Interesting.
people. I can't see the future. I don't think into the future. I don't know, something's wrong with my brain. But I can't see it. Like
No.
even from the beginning, when people would say, I see myself in 5 years being there, I can't see the future. But I can tell you that if I put two and two together and look at the way that I feel about the future, the way that I think things are going, I'm not talking about the political standpoint, geopolitical or anything else like that. I'm talking about the trends and what I'm seeing in science and tech, which are the tools of humanity to better ourselves. I am immensely hopeful. I see a bright future. I don't see a dim, dark future. Do you remember we were
Yeah.
talking about this in last time that you were kind enough to invite me to your 2040? Future for me does not look like this doom and gloom. And I think that there may be the reason that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that is because I know what's going on the edge. I know what is being created. I also have the this desire to always go back in history and look at data points and say, if you look at our science fiction, Chris, remember, like, I don't know, 30 years ago, they said in 2020 something, like, oh, these dirty places, no green
Yep.
stuff. It was, it was, it wasn't, look at around you. It is
Yep.
green.
Totally.
It's beautiful. Humanity
True.
is resilient. If we look into the future, I think we've got the right tools to lead us that way. Amazing tools. If we look at the past, you can see the trends that humanity has overcome many, many challenges. Every
Yep.
time we've stumbled upon something, we thought, oh, the world was going to come to an end. No,
Yep.
it didn't, and it doesn't.
Yep.
At some point, it might, but I don't think it's very soon.
Not on your watch, as one would
Probably,
say. Not
probably
on my
not.
watch, right? This is not on. So you mentioned some of the things that you see through your network or through expansion things that inspire you. Like you said, like on the edge, there's kind of really cool things happen. Can you give me one or two of these that you find are particularly interesting
Yeah.
to be shaping tomorrow? Yeah.
I think that we are very far advanced, and this is also my own field of graphene. We are very far advanced with more than people think with brain-machine interfaces and oh God, for example, one of my friends, the company In Brain Microelectronics, I invite her all the time to come and speak at our events. they created this brain interface with graphene, and they can not only record, I mean, you can, and you can see, right? I mean, at this point, you've seen what the data is coming out and
Hmm.
people are seeing it. You can literally see what people are thinking. And I will talk about that in a second as well, that you can literally put people in MRI and see what they're thinking. I mean, we also had a
Hmm.
talk about that at Expanse, which is not you can see it, you can literally see what they're thinking. Meaning, if if I'm thinking of this bottle, which is this color, this thing, now with the generative AI and with the fMRIs, you can put somebody in this and you can see they are thinking about this bottle that is green, and with that image
Really?
pops.
Now
Oh my!
that I didn't know.
I will send it
That's
to you.
wild.
I know Janelle was around, so maybe she listened to that one. But this one
Hmm.
also, Chris, when I was talking with one of the founders of this, I hear so many things. Unfortunately, I become jaded. So people
Hmm.
think that these things are exciting, and I'm like, passe, passe, passe. You heard this thing. So the guy was telling me that we can see things with fMRI, and I was like, that was 5 years ago. We've seen it. This things, and then he was like, I have to show you something, and he pulled out the images, and I was like, okay, this is different than I was thinking. He was right. Um, you can literally see that. But what they are doing with brain machine interfaces is that not only that, but they can control organs. So if you have a deficiency, for example, for enzyme secretion for your liver or something, this is your command center. This is the place that tells you what to do. They can control organs with that. Again, let's not make it people say, "Oh
That's
my God, that is scary." Don't.
wild.
I love it. That is wild,
That's
not scary.
wild.
That is wild.
No, that's wild.
So that's one of
Wow.
the areas which is fascinating. The other area that's
Hmm.
fascinating to us is that we are literally decoding our own blueprint, right? If you
Hmm.
know the blueprint of something, you can make changes to it, knowing what is going to happen, right? That is the most powerful thing. With everything that's being done with genomes and genomic projects
Hmm.
and multiomics, and the fact that right now we have this combination with AI machine learning that allows us to process things so much faster, there's something new coming. And I
Hmm.
I think I might have talked about this, Chris, but I talk a lot on the stages about this age of exponential technologies, that we are at the cusp of something different right now. And I would not have
Hmm.
said that 4 years ago, but I say it right now. And it's not because of AI. It is because there are four pieces of exponential technologies that are right now have reached a certain point of maturity, that at this point, it's not about them individually, but it's about what they are doing to the other ones. It is one of them is AI and machine learning. The other one is quantum computing and cryptography. The other one is genomic and multiomics, and the last one is our prowess and on nanoassembly and material
Hmm.
science. These four things individually, fantastic. The fact that they're all reaching a maturity level that they can impact the other one, accelerate the other one, that's what's going to start something exponential.
That's wow. That's very wow. So when we're looking at these four different domains which you've just described, is there certain hotspots in the world where this is happening, or is it sort of bubbling everywhere?
There are hotspots in the world that those are things are happening. Obviously, we have them happening in like the quantum technologies. Okay, there are absolute departments that are doing centers of excellence, material science, centers of excellence.
Hmm.
The interdisciplinarity is what is the key right now, right? This is what's going to
Hmm.
define the next chapter. Is not how good we're going to get at AI or how good we're going to get quantum. It is the effect of one on the other. So, do we have the infrastructure for those things? In some places we have, but in majority of places we're not. I mean, Chris, you come from academia.
Hmm.
We don't know what our
Hmm.
neighbors are doing. I mean, it's not common, and
True.
it, but
Yeah.
we see that because there is a commercial need for something like this, we are seeing a lot more activity. And also, it is dawning on a lot of folks. I mean, with the Nobel Prize, I mean, with with in a lot of fields that we saw like
Hmm.
in last year, we're seeing crossing of these fields, and I think that's also a signal. I think that that was an intentional move to send that signal that these things are not
Hmm.
separate from one another. And once we
Hmm.
embrace that, so many amazing things are coming. I can't wait. It's like I just want to go like 100 years from now and see what's happening. And then I could die. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, the time travel is an interesting thing. Maybe you'll figure that one out, but who knows? Like, I got. Do you miss the scientific research? Do you miss the lab? Do you miss like figuring out the graphene? Is this something you
No, I
look?
don't because
Yeah.
it's never gone away. I'm still doing that, but
Huh.
but my playthings are different. So I apply
Mm-hmm.
the same principles you would go about experimentation to what I do right now. That's the reason why we can create
Oh,
platforms to
interesting.
this. And this is one of the things that people
Mm-hmm.
have told me, you need to write a book about this. I'm not going to write a book about it, but I share the knowledge that I've been accumulating very routinely. Everything is like an experiment. When I told you that Expanse was an experiment, it's
Mm-hmm.
because we saw the same ingredient. We saw the ingredients of a Broadway show. You go to a Broadway show and you would come out of this Broadway show and you would be feeling something, right? Or a musical, or it was a concert. There is something, there's methodology in making you feel that way, right? And that exists in
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh,
entertainment
sure,
sector.
totally.
And
Yeah.
then you can also see it in, I mean, they make ads for pharmaceuticals that make you cry. And I'm like, what on earth are you doing? I can see what you're doing to me, but it's a
Totally. Yeah.
formula.
100%.
And then we
Yeah.
have, on the other side, we have this field of science, right? And we have this science communication, and we are banging our heads against the wall saying, we're trying to communicate this and let's make it simpler. But if you think about it, if you apply the same methodology of this field and try to do it in this one, and then we measure it the same exact way that I do experimentation, sample one, sample two, literally, Chris, we do that with my team, is for our platforms, for our processes, we have many different things. We even have different ways that we test how we talk to our partners. Uh, Even to that amount of strategy. I know
Wow.
with some of our partners, this word will trigger this response. This word with this kind of
No way.
we you
That's
ask me
incredible.
how we do these things. We do these things because we
That's
look at these
incredible.
things like a scientific field. And you experiment, you develop a pattern, you identify the pattern, you do experiment with it. If you are proven
Mm-hmm.
right, then you repeat it to perfect it. And then you have a formula. Then I put it in my back pocket and say, this. And it is amazing how when you do this thing, this applies to human psychology. It applies to us going to meetings, and they are repeatable in a majority of times. So yeah, for example, for Expanse, when we did this, we thought this isn't, it was a very expensive experimentation, but for me, it was a prototype completely. I said, if I spend the same money they spent on making a Broadway show or the same money they spent making these concerts, right? If I take these ingredients and if I bring scientists in here and if I create these environments, would I get the same response you would get out of a concert for some of the people who have that kind of reaction? And we did. Chris, we had about 18 people when we did 18 people called Expanse a life-changing experience. Very
That's
odd,
cool.
very odd. And, people say,
Hmm.
"Oh, this is great." Forget
Hmm.
about it. It is odd because that's not a response you would get from a science conference. That is a
No,
very
not at
normal.
all.
This is a normal response you would get to go to a, I don't know, a concert or something. That people respond.
The Lion King. Yeah.
You would get that, but these two things they are experiment proof, right? If you do this, you will get the same response you would get to a Lion King if you do it right. Not that we did it all right for it,
Interesting.
but there were bits of it that we experimented
Yeah.
with some talks and with certain methodologies that we said, that one, we might be onto something.
That's really cool. I love that as you're looking at it sort of so, as you said, a scientific experiment. At the same time, you're raising the understanding within the public and through through your videos of fascinating topics, right? So I mean, it's really science communication on steroids in a super critical way.
100%.
It's
And I think that's the most
hmm
in this world of AI, and everybody's concerned about what's going to come after my job or whatever. If we teach people analytical thinking and scientific method, it applies to everything. It applies to management. It applies to every single thing. If people become, if they become really, it becomes a part of you, that everything in this experimentation look at patterns. My team now can identify patterns in human behavior, and these are, and they're from many different fields, right? But it can be taught. Some people are much better at it, but we've also experimented that it can be taught. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. Fascinating. Woohoo! I can see a venture coming. So Expanse is going to come again. It's already been announced.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We have something even more exciting coming. I can't talk about. Again, if I do it once, Chris, you see me, right? I do something once, I'm like, okay, that was an experiment. Now what else can we do?
I know, that's what I'm saying, but that was an experiment. Based on what you just said, that means you've learned and can't wait to see what you're going to come up with next. That's pretty kind of cool. So let's just, I want to, when we, again, coming to the title of our podcast, is so choosing to matter. And how do you see those three words when it comes to Zina?
What a great,
choosing
what
to
a
matter.
great.
How do you choose to matter?
So maybe I answer it differently. Again, who I am is such a strong representation of my upbringing and my mom. My mom is a Sufi scholar. The way that she brought us up is different. I think one of the principles in Sufism is that you have to matter because it's your responsibility. You don't get a choice. Meaning, whatever you are, this is what I always remember. My mom says, whoever you are, whatever you are, you're a grain of sand. You're Chris, you're President of the United States, you're Zina. It doesn't matter. You, God, whoever, this universe has given you certain things to exert your weight onto this fabric, right? Chris, you've been fortunate enough to do this. That means your weight might have to be bigger than somebody else who has not given those tools. You should exert as much weight as has been given. That is your responsibility. That is your... So for me, it's like putting your weight, exerting your weight on the fabric of existence with as much as been given to you is your responsibility. I don't matter because I choose to matter, because it's my responsibility. Will I care if people see it? That's coming back to your point where you were saying if somebody discovers something and they don't communicate, it matters. And if nobody, even my name is not on it, if nobody knows I did it, it was my responsibility to open that door if I had the capacity of opening that door. So it comes with the territory of us doing whatever it takes. How many lives do we have? We're here. Come on, do stuff.
Oh, I think that's really, I totally hear you. And I think that's very beautiful, actually. As you said, it's directly opposing what I said. If you can't communicate it, it doesn't matter. And you said, well, actually, if you have the gifts which have been given to you through the divine to do whatever you have done, then it matters.
Do it. It's what will you have to do it
that.
regardless of you being able to communicate or anybody recognizing it. You've opened, you've exerted, you've exerted your weight, you've done your piece in this world.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So Zina, what should I have asked you that I didn't ask you?
Oh, what a tricky question. I don't know. You should ask me what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my pajamas, so you should ask me what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my PJs.
No, I'm not going to ask you that.
but I'm wearing my. I dressed up for you. Go on, Chris.
So Zina, what are you wearing? No,
that would have been a good. You know, there are things you learn along the journey that you have, and I will bring it back to the question that you asked me of how do you describe yourself and the inability to describe myself, right? I used to feel shame for not having the same goals as other people. They knew where they were going, right? They knew 5 years from now they wanted to be this. And I always felt like, I don't have that. I feel like there's something wrong with me. or people saying that you have to be able to describe exactly what you're doing. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that is actually a superpower. And not only I embrace it right now, I embrace the fact that I cannot tell people. I embrace the fact that I don't have goals. Because if I had goals 2 years ago, I would not have created Xpanse. If I had goals when I created Xpanse and I said it was going to be the second edition exactly like that, I would not be on the path of creating something that's different. That has become my superpower. And then the same thing of not being able to describe ourselves. Every time I try to describe myself within a box, I am cutting certain parts of us. It's okay for me to be able to communicate that with others, but I am okay finally this year, and it hasn't happened. Finally this year, I am okay with people saying, we don't have a clue what you do. And I'm saying, it's okay. And I don't have a need to tell.
Zina, that's actually a perfect moment to bring our time to the closing moments. Because, yes, now we're going to pour ourselves a little sip. And Zina, I truly, truly, truly want to thank you for sharing your story, for your inspiration, for being you, the indescribable you, and for your choices that you have made as you have crafted a life that matters. And so to that.
Thank you, Chris, for having me.
Thank you so much for listening today. It's really been a pleasure to share this story with you. And I look forward to seeing you again soon and meeting our next guest. And as always, do something today that makes a difference in somebody's life. Choose to matter.